It's Memorial Day weekend, and the shape this country's in is not what our soldiers gave their lives for. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, May the 28th. And of course, it is Memorial Day weekend, and the shit shape this country is in is not what our military, what our soldiers gave their lives for. This is not what we bargained for with a moronic administration, with the strings being pulled on President Biden, who has no idea where he's at, and where we have a continuation of massive amounts of debt, continued money flowing to Ukraine, besides all the other issues and problems from the climate change bullshit, the green energy, where we're starting to see pushback in other parts of the country, which is saying exactly what we've said here all along, that even if you believe in climate change, the way that this administration is going about it is totally criminal, wrong, and is busting America, busting the country that we love, turning us into pretty much of a cesspool of shit, because you've got haters that are running this country right now that are only interested in two things: either destroying this country or stealing as much money as they can. Okay. And of course, we are now seeing the biggest amount of corporate bankruptcies since the last great collapse. We are seeing the destruction of employment and workers and benefits. You now have another new series of layoffs now starting into, for example, Walgreens, the Walgreens Boots Alliance, who are now in the process of laying off over 5,000 executives, 5,000 higher paid jobs. But it's okay. Everything's okay. Just remember, Joe Biden's got your back. Okay, just don't bend over. In the meantime, you've got the gross domestic income tells us that we are in a recession. Okay, now I know that the guys in the bow ties and the economists are not telling us that we're in a recession, because, of course, they're always about 10 years behind. They'll tell you later. Telling me later is not the answer. But I think more importantly, you don't have to have a government report to tell you whether or not you're in a recession. All you have to do is look at your own bank balance, look at your own spending. That'll tell you if you're in a recession. Are you working? Okay. We've had these ridiculous promises over the years. First of all, I think reparations are total bullshit. I think reparations are totally ridiculous. It's a stupid idea. I still cannot believe what's going on, like in the casino industry, where these places are making billions and billions of dollars on reparations of things that happened when none of us were around. Okay, again, why am I paying for that's something for sure my family had nothing to do with, but in general, nobody was around when these things happened, potentially. And of course, you've had the Democratic Party, I will have to put this on them, that has always promises these reparations and makes these ridiculous claims, like we're watching right now, and of course San Francisco and California and other places around the world, the country, that are promising. And of course, what all they're really doing is buying votes. The same reason that California wants to give illegal immigrants $300 a week in unemployment. Now, again, remember that they're giving nothing; you're giving it. Okay, every time they give something away, you are giving it. I am giving it. It comes from the tax base. Okay, but you have the once again the big debt ceiling debate. It's about ready to make me puke. Okay, first of all, Janet Yellen is an idiot. That's number one. Okay, now she's putting on a deadline of June 5th. Now they keep moving the deadline, so that should be your first point. They keep moving when we have to be good by. But the simple fact is that the weekly tax revenue that is collected by the United States of America at $350 billion is enough to handle the debt service until they figure something out. And I'm hoping, I'd like to default. I would like to rearrange and reorganize this government, okay, because they spend too much money. They put us, excuse me, they put us in jeopardy all the time, overspend, oversteal, and take advantage of the taxpayer who continues to foot the bill. But Janet Yellen was a shitty Fed chair, and she's even worse in the cabinet as in finance, because again, she may be very smart from reading a book, but she's got about as much common sense as a gnat. Okay. Now, interesting enough, we see the markets continue to explode, and we'll get more on that in our market report. But, again, as we've always warned you, don't try to outsmart the news or the market. The markets already know what the news is, okay? But we do have, I think, a severe liquidity crisis between the home builders, between many of the borrowers that aren't going to be able to service the debt that they have on themselves. I'm getting all kinds of offers and deals from in Vegas for homes, brand new construction, because there's a lot of stuff that's halfway built. Now, what do you think happens when they can't finish them because they can't get the money from the bank, and they don't have the new home buyers to come in that can pay 7.5% to 8% mortgages? Well, the same thing that happened in '08. Now, again, I can't tell you when that's going to happen. I have no idea, but I can tell you it's going to happen. Okay, it's going to happen, and I think that when you look at the expenses to live, right now we're seeing more 401ks and IRAs being tapped into to live. Now, maybe the people are living a little bit too fat. Maybe they don't need to. Maybe they need to learn how to be a little bit less of spenders. But in the meantime, they are tapping into the retirement savings, which means you can expect to see a lot more Walmart people that are 85 years old that didn't save enough for the retirement, and are greeters at Walmart, because we're in this position, and we're in this position for no damn reason. The real problem here is that we are in this recession. We are in this liquidity crisis. We are in all the problems we have can be directly tied back to this administration, their policies, their ignorance, and their refusal to allow the United States to be a net exporter of oil. Now, you can already see Germany is turning and pushing against the EU, as France did before, saying, hey, maybe we should slow down on this green energy crap. Okay, maybe we need to get a plan together first before we start this. Okay, this is, again, what we talk about all the time. Look, if you want to go green, hey, look, I'm not against it. I don't believe in climate change. But if you want to go green and try to do more, that's fine. But have a plan. Know how you're going to spend the money. Where's the money going to come from? And that, I think, becomes the bigger story. Okay? And this is what we have not done. We've been told, we've been threatened about all these things that we're going to take away from you, but we haven't told me how we're going to get to the next place. And as I've mentioned to you before, every president and every election since I voted has promised one thing: they will fix the infrastructure. Well, so far to this date in 2023, zero have fixed the infrastructure. Okay, and if you're going to go to or attempt to get to green energy, you have to fix the infrastructure first. And I have heard no plans of fixing. I have heard a lot of threats. I have heard a lot of bullshit. I have heard a lot of stuff, but not one firm plan on how they're going to get it done. But I know that they have managed to flush the dollars down the toilet or into their own wallets while we're waiting to get something done. So we are getting penalized with our tax dollars as they are taking raises and enjoying themselves. Okay, and we have nothing to show for it. And I think that becomes one of the bigger problems, which goes back to what I opened with, that our forefathers, our relatives, our people who fought for this country did not fight for the crap they're giving us now. For holding the American middle class's feet to the fire, to come up with more money, continue to bail out stupid ass government employees and government, okay, that for some reason we continue to vote in the same stupid jackasses. In the meantime, it is Memorial Day weekend, and to all of my veterans, families thereof, soldiers, active, retired, deceased, unfortunately, I salute all of you and your families. It is with a great honor to converse with you, all of you, and thank you for your service to this country, but we'll get more into that in our commentary. In the meantime, we're going to step out of here for a break. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, May the 28th, and we'll be right back with more after the break. Well, kids, here we are on this Memorial Day weekend. Now, we don't do any big mailing specials. I'm not that kind of company where I'm going to start, pounding you on the weekend on a holiday. To me, this is actually a very serious holiday, and it's very important to recognize who took care of this country for us. But in the meantime, we do have some sponsors, and just again, you know who they are. Capital Trading Group for futures and commodities. Their information is scrolling on the side, but it's info.capitaltrading.com/Bubba. And look, they're the best at what they do. They're the best fit for what we do, and they're priced at a very reasonable rate to do everything that they do for us. Plus, they're partners with us in the Dreamers. And of course, for equities and options, there's nothing like trade your brokerage. At $10 a month flat, I cannot imagine paying what some of you people pay. It makes I laugh because you just give away so much money. It's like I save over $100,000 a year in commission. So I don't know. Should I give the broker $100,000 or should I put it in my pocket? Okay, you tell me. In the meantime, it's try.trader.com/Bubba, and of course our high school program, which is another one of my bones of contention. We're trying to give it a last-ditch effort to get this thing going. But in the meantime, you can help us out if you want to try, and it's scrolling along the bottom, high school investing. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, my commentary. Not my commentary, my market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, May the 28th, and, of course, every week we talk about the markets and what's going on, and, obviously the markets are rallying. They're running. It's a runner. We told you. Okay, again, I think the market's going way down. I've never made any secret, nor have I ever backed down from that. But I did say to you that there's a chance it could go up first. And here it is. Now, you're going to have a bunch of people telling you that, well, it's because of this, because of this. But it doesn't matter why. If you're short, you're getting hurt. Okay? It doesn't matter why NVIDIA went up 30%. Okay? It doesn't matter that the NASDAQ is making, 2-year highs now. It doesn't matter that, that the Dow and Russell are weak. Okay? And the S&P is strong. Again, nothing matters other than, are you making money? You're not making money. Okay? So when you start to try to incorporate the news and try to put things together, it doesn't work like that. The markets tell you what they're doing next. In the meantime, as we look at the markets, obviously, we are along the Dow, we are along the S&P, we are along the Qs, or the NASDAQ, and we are along the Russell now, and still short the Dow. And they've all had pretty big weeks. The Russell's always weaker than the rest, but of course the NASDAQ exploded higher, and we're long all except for the Dow. As we look at the dollar, which we don't trade anymore, but the dollar we would be long. The dollar's actually once again pushed it back up to 104. Okay, which takes the euro currency down, which we are short. Okay, and again, I don't think this is the inevitable run to 88 cents, which I think we're going. But again, we are short right now, and we'll see. I don't know how far it'll go this time. Bitcoin continues to struggle. We continue to be short. Now, look, I'm a big believer in crypto. I think the more we see issues with banks, the more we see issues with other places, the higher the probability that crypto is going to start to explode again. Certainly, you have to invest money that you are willing to lose. Okay. Bonds and notes got clobbered, and again, that's more in tune and in line with, of course, rising interest rates, which I think we're going to get. There may not be a hike at this next rate, but in the next meeting, but there's going to be plenty of hikes, and I think that the 10-year notes are getting to 6%, which would take the bonds and notes a lot lower. The metals, we're short gold, we're short silver, and we would be short platinum, but we don't trade anymore. I think that look, I'm a big fan of the metals, and certainly I'm buying some I'm buying some physical at these lower prices. Okay, but again, in my position, which we're short, again, one has nothing to do with the other. One's an investment that I'm holding through thick and thin. One is, again, a trade. The copper market, we're still short, and copper looks like it's headed below 350. Natural gas lower, looks like it's headed lower, but again, I'm always concerned, and now we're once again inching closer. It's still just the summer, but again, getting closer, but we're still short. Crude continues to jerk around in between 72, 73, and 76, 77. We're still short crude oil. Again, I think crude oil is going a lot higher, and certainly would be looking for a spot to take a shot with to the upside. But again, the trend is still down. In the grain markets, the grains look like they might have found something. Right now, it's kind of concerning that we had to buy some wheat from Poland. But again, it's about money. It's about the cost of oil. It is about the cost of everything else. But in the meantime, I think that last week they were a little bit more resilient and may have put in some bottoms. Now we're long corn, long wheat, and short beans. But I would suspect that we could see some upward momentum coming in here. But again, we'll continue to play our positions are. In the protein complex, cattle continues to be fairly stagnant at higher prices. And I think it'll be like that. There's a shortage of cattle, which means that you're not getting dramatically lower prices or higher prices because there's not as much demand, because only the people that can afford it are buying it right now. And of course, the hog market is, I think, very concerning. Okay, hogs continue to get slaughtered, so to speak, and going right into barbecue season, Memorial Day weekend, and the hogs have a 7 in front of them, a 7 handle, which is unbelievable. I mean, these are even disastrous prices. Now, we would be short if we traded them, but we don't. But I mean, again, if you're a gambler, somewhere down here, you want to look for a spot to buy for a trade. Not that they're going to turn dramatically, but there'll be a pop this week coming. Okay, and remember, it's only a short week this week, 4 days. Tomorrow we're closed, and then we go to business, back to business on Tuesday. And of course, in the softs, you've got cocoa, which we're still long, was higher. You've got cotton still stuck in consolidation, which we would be short. Sugar we're short, was lower. OJ we were long. And of course, coffee continues to get hammered a little bit, but I think it's also coming to some support. Again, I'm looking to see some pops in these commodities. We'll see how it all plays out at the end of the day. But I think it's something worth noting and something to look at. So again, I think caution is very much advised. I think sitting back and relaxing is very much advised, and picking your spots. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz will be back right after the break with our commentary here on this Memorial Day weekend. Well, kids, again, I hope you're enjoying the Memorial Day weekend, and I hope you're saying thank you to every person in the military you see, and as well, and obviously, we have many that Memorial Day, obviously, for those that have passed, but again, we'll get more into that. In the meantime, don't forget about our sponsors, Capital Trading Group, Trade Your Brokerage, scrolling on the sides, excuse me, and across the bottom, of course, our high school program. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line on this Memorial Day weekend, and of course, my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horwitz, and it is Sunday, May the 28th, Memorial Day weekend. And as you know, I always have something to say, and I find it kind of depressing. When we look at the shape that this country is in, when we look at the freedoms that we have given up, our ancestors, forefathers, people we know, friends who have all fought for this country, and we're getting none of what they fought for. And you have to love the military. And I think that we've really shirked the responsibility of how much we actually owe people that serve in this country, whether we're in wartime or not. You know, they are the protectors of us. They are the ones that are called in emergency. Those are the ones who work for very little money, and they work for the pride of this country. And when you start seeing and allowing these woke companies to take place and take the pride and the heart out of these people, you know, they're still fighting for you, no matter what you believe in. They're fighting for this country. And I think that when I look around and see the damage being done by the Biden administration, okay, by the AOC and the squad and others, look, again, McConnell's no bargain. And the disrespect, not maybe intentionally or not directly, but through actions to our military. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of people that died to make this country great. Okay, there's a lot of people serving today. There's a lot of veterans alive today. But those that we have lost that fought for the right, for your right, okay, and yet you treat your right like shit. And I think that, it's time for everybody to wake up and first thank somebody you see in the military. You see somebody in an airport in a uniform, thank them. They're fighting for you. They're getting no money to fight for you. Okay, I think you owe it to say at least thank you. Okay, and I think we owe it to those who lost their lives fighting for this country to wake up and fix it and quit allowing government to tear it down and turn it into shit. Like from the debt ceiling to all the other stuff. And to all the military out there, to those of you who are still alive, those of you who had family members you might have lost, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you guys every day. I can't wait to thank military personnel and public servants that work to make our lives better. And a happy Memorial Day to you, and to those of you who have lost people. My heart goes out to you, but I thank you for your service, because it takes more than just the person serving. It takes the family around them. Happy Memorial Day to all of you, and I salute you, and I thank you for your service. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Sunday, May the 28th. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.